The nursing student who failed her exam for a stranger and found herself in the Vampire King's War. The fog in Philadelphia clung to the ground like a living creature, silver, thick, almost enchanted. It coiled around street corners, breathing against the city's heartbeat. Most people rushed through it without noticing. But Alara Vance, a 22-year-old nursing student with trembling hands and a stitched-together life, felt every shift in the air. Because it felt like the fog was trying to warn her. Alara sprinted across the street, her backpack bouncing against her spine, her nursing textbook clutched like a lifeline to her chest. Today was everything. Today was the final exam. The one she needed to pass to keep her scholarship. The one that would determine if she could graduate early and finally bring her little sister out of that falling-apart apartment on 9th Street. She was precisely 9 minutes late. If she didn't reach campus in the next 10 minutes, the exam doors would close. And her 3 years of working night shifts at diners, cleaning offices at 3 a.m., and taking care of Maya would mean nothing. Not one professor would show mercy. Not in this city. Her lungs burned. Her shoes slapped against the wet pavement. Then she heard it. A sound so faint she thought it came from inside her own head. A low, strangled whimper like someone choking on their own breath. She froze. The sound came again. A weak, trembling help. Alara's breath hitched. She stared into the dark alley to her right. The mist seemed blacker there, colder, almost alive. No, 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 please, she whispered to herself. Not today. Please not today. She stepped back onto the sidewalk, eyes on the glowing university clock tower in the distance. Her future was straight ahead. Her freedom. Her sister's chance. Everything she sacrificed for. But the voice came again. Desperate. Breaking. Fading. Alara clenched her teeth, then dropped her bag, and ran into the alley. The woman in the mist. A woman, maybe in her 60s, lay collapsed on the ground. A luxurious cashmere coat soaked with blood clung to her body. Her silver hair spread like a halo beneath her head. Her skin was the color of paper, and her breath came in wet, shallow gasps. Ma'am? Can you hear me? Alara knelt instantly, hands steady despite the panic clawing inside her chest. The woman's eyes fluttered open, dark, bottomless, unervingly ancient. Alara gasped. There was something unnatural about them. Something regal. Something wrong. Don't let them find me, the woman whispered, grabbing Alara's wrist with surprising strength. Alara swallowed hard. Okay, I'm right here. Just stay with me. She pressed her hand to the wound, deep, vicious, almost like a claw mark. Who did this to you? She asked. The woman looked around, terrified of the shadows themselves. They are coming, she whispered. He will come, if I don't survive. Her eyes burned with urgency. You must run. I'm not leaving you, Alara said sharply. Something flickered in the woman's gaze. Surprise? Admiration? A strange recognition? You would forfeit your future. For a stranger? She whispered. Alara didn't answer. She didn't need to. She dialed emergency services, using her jacket to apply pressure to the wound. Blood trickled over her fingers, too dark, too thick. Not normal. Nothing about this was normal. But she kept holding pressure. Even when sirens echoed in the distance. Even when her phone buzzed with the university alert. Exam room doors closing in 4 minutes. She didn't move. Couldn't move. The woman's breath shuddered. Her grip on Alara's wrist weakened. You chose compassion over your destiny, she murmured. Alara's throat tightened. That is my destiny. The woman's lips curved ever so slightly. And then she fainted in Alara's arms. The consequences. At the hospital, chaos erupted around them. Alara stayed until a surgeon pulled her aside and said, You saved her life. But you should go clean up. Blood was all over Alara's hands, coat, shoes. She looked like she'd crawled out of a nightmare. Her phone chimed. Email, exam failed, automatic disqualification. Her stomach dropped. No, no, she whispered. This couldn't be real. Another email came. Your scholarship has been revoked. Her knees almost gave out. All she could think about was her little sister Maya saying, Someday you'll be a nurse. And we'll leave this place forever. Alara's vision blurred. She had lost everything. Because she chose to save a stranger. A stranger whose name she still didn't know. The encounter. The hospital hallway suddenly grew cold. Lights flickered. Every nurse, doctor, and patient went silent, like an unseen force pressed the air flat. Then, every door on the floor slammed shut. The temperature dropped so fast Alara could see her breath. What is happening? She whispered. Footsteps echoed, Slow, heavy, impossibly controlled. A man turned the corner. Tall, sure. Dressed in an ink-black coat that moved like smoke behind him. His eyes, a deep, unnatural crimson. Elara's heartbeat stuttered. Every instinct screamed danger. Every molecule in the air seemed to vibrate with power. Ancient power. He walked past everyone like they didn't exist. But when he reached her, he stopped. Those crimson eyes locked onto her. "You touched her," he said quietly. His voice was low, smooth, far too calm for the rage burning beneath it. Elara swallowed. "Yes, I found her injured." You saved her." Not a question. A statement. He stepped closer. Elara felt something. A pull. Like gravity itself shifted toward him. But not romantic. Not yet. More like standing too close to a storm that recognized you. He inhaled slowly. "You smell of her blood," he murmured. Elara stumbled back. "What? Who are you?" He didn't blink. "I am the one who tears worlds apart when someone harms my mother." Her breath froze in her lungs. Mother. The woman in the alley. The stranger. "You're her son?" she whispered. He tilted his head, studying her face. "No," he said quietly. "I am her king." Her blood turned to ice. The hallway lights flickered violently. Everyone, every doctor, every nurse, stayed rooted in fear. Only Elara could move. "What are you?" she whispered. He leaned forward slightly. Not touching her. Just close enough for her to feel the chill of eternity in his breath. "I am Kalian Draven," he murmured. "Vampire king of the Eastern Dominion." Her pulse skipped. He held out a gloved hand. "You saved my mother," he said. "Now I owe you a debt." Elara shook her head frantically. No, I don't want anything. I just help because I..." His eyes flashed. "A bond has been formed," he said. Soul deep. Unbreakable, once sealed by blood. Elara's stomach dropped. "What bond?" "I didn't agree to anything." Kalian's voice softened, just barely. "My mother's savior is under my protection now." He stepped closer. Every heartbeat she had ever felt, every breath she had ever taken, suddenly felt too loud, too fragile in his presence. "You belong to my domain, Elara Vance." Her name in his voice made the lights tremble. Elara backed up until her shoulders hit the cold wall. "I don't belong to anyone," she whispered. Kalian's lips curved. A dangerous, unreadable half-smile. "Not yet." Before she could breathe, he turned, walking toward the ICU where his mother lay. The lights sparked. The floor shook. Everyone trembled in terror as the doors unlocked. Elara clutched her chest. Her life was over. Her exam, gone. Her scholarship, gone. Her freedom, gone. But something worse had just begun. The moment Kalian Draven looked into her eyes, her ordinary human world ended, and the Vampire King's world began. The man with crimson eyes. The hallway froze around him, like the world itself was holding its breath. Elara felt her pulse hammering in her throat as the tall man walked toward her, each step echoing like a warning through the silent hospital. He didn't look human. He didn't move like a human. The staff pressed themselves against the walls, trembling. Not one person dared speak to him. Not one even dared breathe. Elara didn't understand why, until she saw his eyes up close. Deep ruby. Ancient. Wounded. And filled with a rage so cold it didn't burn. It killed. Her entire body tensed. Her instincts screamed run. But the man stopped right in front of her. His voice was velvet and ice. "You," he said softly. "Where is she?" Elara swallowed hard. I don't know who." He stepped closer. She could feel the air deform around him, the pressure, the cold, the power. "You carried her into this hospital," he said. "And you bled with her. I smell it on you." Elara's stomach twisted. Smell? What was he? He leaned slightly forward, inhaling near the bloodstains on her coat. His jaw clenched. "That is my mother's blood." Elara staggered back. "You're a mother?" His eyes pierced her. She should not have been alone. His voice cracked, barely, but enough for Elara to hear the pain under the fury. She should not be hurt. Not now. Not ever. Something in his tone made her chest ache. This terrifying man wasn't angry at her. He was grieving. I found her in an alley," Elara said shakily. "She was calling for help. I couldn't leave her." His expression changed. Just slightly. But the coldness cracked, revealing something like wonder. "You chose her life," he murmured. "At the cost of your own future." "I'm a nursing student," Elara whispered. "I couldn't just ignore her." He stared at her. Really stared. like he was trying to understand something centuries beyond human logic. Then he spoke one name. A name that made the lights flicker. Ilori Valen. The walls seemed to shiver at the sound of it. Elara frowned. What does that mean? He blinked, slowly. That is her true name, he said. Not the mortal alias she uses in this realm. Realm? True name? Ilori Valen, he repeated, voice colder. Queen Mother of the Crimson Court. Ruler of the Night Domain. First blood of the Valente dynasty. Elara stared at him in disbelief. The woman I saved is a queen? The man's jaw tightened. She is the queen of my people. And she is. His fists clenched. The last thing anchoring our world. Elara couldn't breathe. What are you? She whispered. His crimson eyes darkened, glowing like embers. He said softly, am Valerius Valente, king of the Crimson Court, sovereign of the night, and the rightful heir to the blood you carry on your hands. Elara's knees almost buckled. She had saved royalty. Immortal royalty. Vampire royalty. And now she stood face to face with the most feared being in the supernatural world. The hunt begins. Valerius turned away from her, but the cold aura around him only intensified. When she awakens, he said, I will have answers. He walked toward the ICU hallway. But when Elara instinctively took a step back, he spoke without turning. You will follow. Her breath caught. What? Why? His head tilted slightly toward her, just enough for her to see the faintest curve of a cruel, regal smirk. Because the scent of her blood is on you, he murmured. And those who tried to kill her will come for you next. Elara froze. What are you talking about? He looked over his shoulder. Assassins, he said. My mother was ambushed. The moment they sense her blood on you, they will track your heartbeat across the city. Elara's hands trembled. I don't want any part of this. You already are, he said simply. You touched her. You saved her. Her magic marks those she accepts. Accepts. Elara echoed. He faced her fully now. When a queen allows a mortal to touch her blood, Valerius said, it seals a bond. Elara's stomach twisted. What kind of bond? Valerius stepped closer, lowering his voice. A royal one. Her heart skipped painfully. I never asked for. He cut her off. No mortal ever has. His presence swallowed the air. You will come with me, he said quietly. My mother's enemies will not hesitate to kill you. And I will not allow that. The way he said it, cold, flat, absolute, made her shiver. Not out of fear, but because it didn't sound like an order. It sounded like a vow. The hospital attack. Before Elara could speak, the hallway lights exploded. Screams erupted. Shadows twisted on the walls, wrong, jagged, moving too fast to be human. Valerius turned slowly, his expression darkening. They have found us. Elara backed up against the wall. Shapes crawled out of the broken light fixtures. Long-limbed, pale-eyed, moving like spiders. Valerius extended a hand. A blade of blood-red energy formed in his palm. Stay behind me. Elara could only nod, shaking. The creatures lunged. Valerius moved faster than sight. A blur of darkness, steel, and cold fury. Every time his blade sliced through the air, shadows screamed. Machines malfunctioned. Glass shattered. The entire wing shook. Elara crouched behind the reception desk, heart in her throat. But her eyes stayed locked on the woman she saved. The queen. Still unconscious. Still vulnerable. And everything inside Elara screamed. Protect her. Help her. Don't let her die. She grabbed a fallen four-pole for, what? She didn't know. She only knew she couldn't watch someone die again. Not after everything she'd lost today. Not after what she sacrificed. Not after choosing compassion over her future. Valerius finished the last creature, chest rising with dangerous breaths. Elara, he said urgently. We must go. But Elara pushed herself to her feet. Not without your mother. His eyes widened. Not with anger. With confusion. You would carry her, he said slowly. In your fragile mortal state. Elara lifted her chin. I'm a nursing student, she said. I've carried people bigger than her. Valerius stared at her. Longer this time. Deeper. Something in his gaze shifted. The coldness dimmed. Respect. Reluctant. Surprised. Real. Very well, he murmured. Then take her. And stay close. As Elara rushed to the queen's bedside, Valerius whispered under his breath. You risked your future for her once. And now you risk your life. Elara didn't hear him. But the shadows did. And far, far away, A rival king did too. Marked by the queen's blood. For a moment, Ilara believed she had died. The world was nothing but noise. Exploding lights, shrieking shadows, alarms blaring, cold wind slicing through the hallway like a blade. And in the middle of it, King Valerius moved with a terrifying grace. A violent poetry Ilara couldn't look away from. His crimson blade sliced through the shadow creatures as if they were made of smoke and screams. Every strike echoed like thunder. Every movement radiated fury so cold it almost hurt to stand near him. But what terrified Ilara most was this. No matter how fast he moved, he always kept his body between her and the monsters. Every single time. He fought like someone protecting something precious. She wasn't ready for what that meant. Not yet. The strange light under her skin. A creature leapt toward her from above, eyes glowing, fangs bared. Ilara screamed and threw her arms up, and then light burst from her palms. White, blinding, ancient. The creature was hurled backward, its body slamming into the far wall, dissolving into ash. Ilara stared at her hands. The glowing veins under her skin. The shimmering marks. The warmth pulsing from her fingertips. What is happening to me? Valerius didn't even pause fighting as he growled. My mother's blood chose you. His voice vibrated with something like shock. And something else she didn't know how to name. Ilara shook her head violently. No, that's not possible. I'm human. Not anymore. His blade severed another creature. There is no return from a queen's touch. Her breath hitched. Her knees weakened. No, she whispered. No, please, I didn't ask for this. Fate does not ask, Valerius said coldly. It simply marks. The aftermath. When the last creature fell, the air stilled. Ilara leaned against the wall, shaking so hard she could barely stay upright. Valerius finally turned to her. His expression wasn't human. And it wasn't kingly. It was conflicted. I should not say this, he murmured, voice low. But my mother's choice is never random. Ilara hugged herself tightly. I don't want to be chosen. He looked at her for a long moment. Most mortals would kill to earn a queen's mark. I'm not most mortals. His eyes softened just slightly. No, he said quietly. You are not. Ilara didn't know why. But those simple words made her chest tighten. The ICU room. Valerius pushed open the door of the room where the queen was kept. The temperature dropped instantly. Machines flickered and shook nervously as if they sensed what she truly was. The queen mother lay on the bed. Silent, pale, utterly still. Her silver hair spilled over the pillows like moonlight. Her skin looked carved from frost. And yet, when Ilara stepped inside, the queen's fingers twitched. Valerius went rigid. Mother? But the queen's eyes remained closed. Instead, her hand lifted weakly toward Ilara. Valerius stared. She calls to you. Ilara whispered, terrified. Why me? Why would she? No mortal has touched my mother's blood in centuries, Valerius said. She would never allow it unless. He stopped talking. Ilara swallowed thickly. Unless what? He said nothing, because the truth, whatever it was something he wasn't ready to say. Not yet. The council arrives. The hospital doors burst open downstairs. Voices echoed, stern, ancient, furious. Valerius' expression hardened instantly. The council, he muttered. Ilara frowned. Who are they? The ruling nobles of my court. And they will not approve of what my mother did. Ilara's stomach twisted. You mean, saving her was wrong? No, Valerius said sharply. Saving her was the only reason she is alive. They simply will not approve that she bound herself to you. I didn't bind anything. Ilara snapped. Valerius looked at her with something like pity. It does not matter. To them you are now part of royal blood. And they will want you controlled, silenced, or removed. Ilara stepped back, panic rising. They want to kill me? If they can, Valerius said darkly. But they will not. His eyes glowed brighter. Because you are under my protection now. The way he said it, like a command carved into stone, made her entire body shiver. The council confrontation. 7 figures entered the room. Tall, elegant, dressed in deep crimson cloaks. Every one of them bowed to Valerius, except one. A tall man with white hair and venom in his eyes. Your Majesty, he said coldly. We sensed the Queen's blood awaken, but we did not expect to find. His gaze slid to Ilara. A mortal. Ilara felt exposed, small, and judged all at once. Valerius stepped in front of her immediately. She saved my mother's life, he said. Unacceptable, the man spat. A mortal bearing royal blood is a threat. She is under my protection, Valerius said again. And that, the councilman hissed, is why it is a problem. Valerius' aura flared, cold, sharp, lethal. Choose your next words carefully, Chancellor. The Chancellor ignored him. He addressed Alara directly, voice dripping with poison. You forced a bond with the Queen? I didn't force anything, she cried. You touched her blood, he said. You sealed fate. Alara shook her head violently. I was trying to stop the bleeding. And now, the Chancellor whispered, you belong to the royal bloodline. Alara froze. No, she whispered. I don't belong anywhere. Valerius snapped. She belongs where I say she belongs. The entire room fell silent. Even the machine stopped humming. Alara stared at him in shock. The council stared too. Not with fear, but with understanding. Understanding something she didn't. Something Valerius hadn't admitted. Not even to himself. The decree. The Chancellor bowed stiffly. As you wish, Your Majesty. Then the mortal must be taken to the Crimson Court for examination. Alara stepped back. Examination? No, I can't. I have a sister, I have school. You lost your exam, the Chancellor said coldly. Our records show your scholarship was revoked an hour ago. Alara's heart dropped. How do you know that? We control the city's shadow networks, girl. We know everything. Alara's nails dug into her palms. So I lost everything, and now you want to take more? Mortals are temporary, he said simply. Our world is not. Valerius' voice dropped to a deadly whisper. You will not touch her. The Chancellor bowed again, mocking. As you command. But understand this, my king. If she is bonded to the Queen, then she is no longer merely human. He smiled wickedly. She is a piece of the throne. Alara felt the room tilt. A piece of the throne? What did that even mean? She didn't get to ask. Because suddenly, the Queen Mother gasped awake. Her eyes, those bottomless ancient eyes, opened and fixed directly on Alara. And she whispered one word. Daughter. The Queen awakens, the bond reveals, the King chooses. The Chancellor's accusation sliced through the room like a blade. You touched her blood, he hissed at Alara. You sealed a bond forbidden for a mortal. A bond that threatens the entire Crimson Court. Alara shook her head, voice cracking. I didn't know, I only tried to save her. That, he sneered, is precisely the problem. Mortals act on impulse, not duty. Valerius moved so fast the council gasped. One moment he was standing beside Alara. The next, his hand was gripping the Chancellor's throat, lifting him off the ground. Call her mortal again, Valerius growled, and you will not utter another word for the rest of your immortal life. The Chancellor clawed for breath. Your Majesty, she is a risk. She is mine to protect, Valerius roared, and you will not touch what bears my mother's mark. Alara froze. His words echoed inside her. Mine to protect. Not mine to own. Not mine to command. Mine to protect. Her chest tightened with something she refused to name. The Chancellor gasped. Then, let us see, if your mother agrees. Valerius's eyes narrowed. And then, a soft, trembling voice drifted across the room. I agree. The Queen returns. Every immortal in the room dropped to their knees. Valerius spun around so quickly the air cracked. Mother? Queen Ilori Valen, pale, ancient, impossibly regal, opened her eyes. Not human eyes. Eyes like starless night. Her gaze found Alara instantly. A faint smile touched her lips. You saved my life, child. Alara swallowed hard. I did what anyone would do. No, the Queen whispered. No mortal would have chosen compassion over themselves. But you did. And my blood responded. Valerius stared between them. Mother, why her? The Queen lifted a shaking hand. Alara stepped forward without thinking. The Queen's fingers brushed Alara's cheek, leaving a faint glowing trail. When I was attacked, the Queen said, I saw flashes of futures, thousands splintering like broken mirrors. And in every future where I lived, she was there. She pointed a trembling finger at Alara. She is your anchor, Valerius, the reason you do not fall to darkness. Valerius stiffened. Mother. Silence, she whispered. I saw what comes. Or betrayal, blood, and a choice that will decide the fate of our world. Her gaze hardened. And she is the only one who stands at your side in every path that does not end in ruin. The council gasped. A few hissed in outrage. Ilara's breath caught in her throat. This can't be right, she whispered. I'm just a nursing student. I failed my exam. I don't belong in your world. You belong where fate places you, the queen said. And fate has chosen. The conspiracy revealed. Valerius lowered the chancellor to the floor, only to throw him against the wall with supernatural force. You orchestrated the attack, Valerius said, voice shaking with fury. The chancellor didn't deny it. She grows weak. Too merciful, he spat. The Crimson Court needs a king without a human heart. Valerius's jaw clenched. You wanted her dead so I would ascend alone. The chancellor smirked. A king with no queen? Is a king easier to control? Silence cracked through the room like lightning. Then Valerius spoke one word. Traitor. With a flick of his hand, the chancellor was dragged away by guards, screaming the entire time. The offer. When the room quieted, Valerius turned to Ilara. His expression was unreadable, dangerous and gentle at once. You saved my mother, he said. You bear her mark. And now, you stand at the center of a prophecy even I do not understand. Ilara stepped back instinctively. I don't want to be part of a prophecy. You already are. Her voice cracked. I lost my scholarship because I saved her. I failed my exam. My life is ruined. Valerius moved closer. Slow, deliberate, as if he feared startling her. Then allow me to restore it. She blinked up at him. What? My resources outrank any mortal institution, he said. You will take your exam again. You will keep your scholarship. You will finish your studies. Pause. And until then you will stay in my protection. Ilara's heart twisted. I can't live in a vampire palace, she whispered. Valerius leaned closer. You can live wherever you are safe. His voice dropped to a dark whisper. Even by my side. Her breath caught. Why? She whispered. His crimson eyes softened. Not warm but something deeper, older. Because, he murmured. My mother chose you before I even knew your name. Because you faced danger without powers or strength. Because you risked your future to save a stranger. He exhaled shakily. And because every instinct in me is drawn to you. Ilara's lips parted. She had no words. Only a heartbeat that betrayed her. The first touch. A sudden wave of weakness washed over her. The aftermath of magic bonding to mortal flesh. She stumbled. Valerius caught her instantly. Their hands touched. Just a heartbeat. And it felt like fire meeting frost. His eyes widened. Like he felt it too. Ilara, he whispered. You must choose. Choose what? She breathed. To step back into the mortal world. Or walk beside me into danger, prophecy, and darkness. Her pulse thundered in her ears. If I choose the mortal world, I will protect you from afar. Valerius swallowed hard. You will finish your studies. Live your life. And I will force myself to forget the bond forming between us. Her chest tightened painfully. And if I walk beside you? His voice dropped to a whisper that shook her bones. Then you will enter a world where you are no longer powerless. Where no one will ever harm you again. Where your courage becomes your weapon. And I become your shield. He brushed a strand of hair from her face, carefully, reverently. And one day, you may become more than a healer in your world. You may become a queen in mine. Ilara's breath trembled. The queen watched silently, a knowing smile on her lips. The council bowed their heads in acceptance. The prophecy pulsed in Ilara's veins. And Valerius waited. Not ordering. Not commanding. Just waiting. For you, he said softly. I will wait. The final choice, part 1 ending. Ilara looked at Valerius. The vampire king who slaughtered monsters to protect her. Whose mother marked her with destiny. Who offered her a future she never imagined. Then she looked at the hospital doors. The mortal world she came from. The dream she fought for. The sister she needed to protect. 2 worlds. 2 futures. 1 heartbeat. And then, Ilara stepped forward. And placed her hand in the vampire king's. Valerius inhaled sharply. The room lit with ancient red light. The queen smiled. And destiny sealed.